Are you thinking about Judy?
Yeah. I'm wondering what we should do about her.
It's true that she broke the guild's laws and betrayed us.
I always thought that a guild's strict adherence to its own laws was what kept it together. That there could be no exceptions, no lenience for those who would break the laws. But
She did what she did to save the world. Judy is destroying Blastia because she knows it's the right thing to do, even if it makes people hate her.
yep, Judith didn't break our laws in order to do something bad. I know this now. I'm gonna talk with her about it and give it some more thought. I'll figure this out eventually.
Oh yeah?
Maybe if I become a little more decisive, Nan will listen to me too.
Oh, Yuri.
Sorry to interrupt while you were thinking.
Ever since I took Belius's life without meaning to, I've wanted to know what it means to be the child of the full moon, so the same thing doesn't happen again. I've always thought that it was my duty to know. But after what happened to Belius,
That's how everyone is. They do something, they learn. They do something else, they learn more.
you too, Yuri?
Yeah?
Maybe if I had known everything ahead of time, I wouldn't have made any mistakes.
There's only one thing I can say for sure.
What's that?
Maybe you wouldn't have made any mistakes, but it sure would have been boring.
I really wonder.
So does an old man past his prime fit into the picture at all?
What are you whining about, old man? Why are you past your prime?
What Judith was talking about before, Hermes Blastia, was it? Blastia created with techniques that should have been lost in the war are still active. Do you know what this means?
I guess someone who survived the war brought either Blastia or those techniques back with him.
If that person was still using the Blastia even though he knew it was harmful to the Earth, someone like that would have to be quite the villain indeed.
Old man, don't tell me you...
Hey now, yours truly was nothing but an innocent youth on the straight and narrow back then. I wouldn't do something like that even on my worst day.
I was just trying to trick you into giving yourself away. You're a slippery one.
Son of a... When are you gonna learn some respect for your elders?
Don't fall overboard.
Oh, I'll be careful. Yuri, the world sure is big.
Yeah. Even though we're flying this high in the air, we still can't see everything.
If the world's this big, I guess it makes sense that there'd be so many things we don't know. It might not make that much of a difference whether I get my memories back or not.
Are you saying you'd be okay with not getting them back?
I'm saying that I'm not the only one who feels restless and anxious not knowing the truth. Everyone's worried about something. Even you and Estelle.
You think so?
Isn't that why everyone's here? Isn't that why Judy came back?
And is that why you're here too?
I don't want to be alone.
You know, you're being pretty honest today.
I'm always honest.
Really? Well, maybe you are. Is that the core from the Ceres Blastia that Judy destroyed?
Yes, it's definitely cut with a different formula than a usual core. It looks like what she said was true.
She said she wasn't too good at lying after all.
To discover that the new technique you created was bad for the world, after what must have been years of research. I can't imagine how the person who created the Hermes technique must have felt.
Well, what if it had been you?
If I found out that it hurt the Earth, I would have to do something about it. But I wouldn't destroy the Blastia like that.
What the?
Nothing. If only things weren't so complicated. I could have just blasted her into oblivion and been done with it.
morning, Yuri.
Morning.
It's a beautiful morning, but even as we stand here, the air is out of balance, and our world may already be dying.
That's right.
Judy!
Well, look who's feeling better.
In the past, these slight fluctuations of the air have not negatively affected our world. There have always been beings who maintain the balance by sensing changes in the airflow. Beings like Pharaoh and Baul, the Entelekea.
So the Entelekea were responsible for keeping the air balanced.
For ages, the Entelekea have regulated the air, but the recent increase has been greater than they could control.
Which is being caused by the Hermes Blastia.
And which is also why you were going around taking down as many of them as you could.
Yes, that was my mission. The path I walk with Baul, to whom I owe my life.
The path you walk.
Now some would even hunt the Entelekea for Apatheia. This has made the mission of the Entelekea even more difficult.
Why is everybody so crazy about these Apatheia anyway?
I'm afraid I don't have an answer. The air an Entelekea absorbs becomes condensed within its body over time. When its life is at an end, that condensed air forms a crystal, an Apatheia. That's all I know. I imagine Pharaoh could shed more light on the subject, though.
So Apatheia are crystals of concentrated air.
If that's true and the energy could be extracted from the Apatheia, it would be a source of overwhelming power, I'm sure.
Could we really do that?
I don't know.
But if that's possible, there must be tons of guys who want those things.
I bet somebody wants to use these things for the wrong reasons.
Why didn't you just tell us all this from the beginning?
Seriously, we could have avoided all this trouble if you just talked to us. Am I wrong?
Even if you had known, there are things not even you could have prevented.
What do you mean?
I showed up at Heliord because Baul had sensed a disturbance in the air. Where there was a disturbance, there was sure to be a Hermes Blastia. But what I found there was not a Blastia, it was a person. That had never happened before.
So it wasn't like you were looking for Estelle in particular back at Heliord.
Yet for some reason, Baul perceived Estelle as a disturbance in the air. I had to find out why. For the sake of the path I've chosen, it was at that time that Pharaoh first appeared. He seemed to have some idea who Estelle was. My mission was to destroy all the Hermes Blastia. However, Estelle was obviously not a Blastia. I needed to make absolutely certain. I made a deal with Pharaoh, and he agreed to grant me some time.
You mean...
If it became apparent that her existence posed too great a threat, then I would kill her.
You what?
Wait! Rita!
Settle down. Obviously, Judith reached a different conclusion.
All right, I get it.
Belius said you possess a heart of compassion. If you can communicate that to Pharaoh somehow, you may learn what you should do.
Hey, there's no real reason for you to fight Pharaoh anymore, right? I mean, we know the Hermes Blastia are what's causing the problem and everything. If we just make sure the Apatheia don't fall into the wrong hands...
I still want to meet Pharaoh. I want to hear what he has to tell me.
But...
Please try to understand. I have to know more about myself and take responsibility for who I am.
All right. Sorry, Yuri. I don't think we can decide what to do about Judith right away.
I promise not to leave again until things have been settled, as you said. I need to accept that responsibility myself.
Let's go and find Pharaoh. We'll finally be getting around to one of the first things we set out to do. We can work out the rest once this is finished.
There is a rocky crag in the center of the sands of Kogor. That is where Pharaoh lives. Baul can take us there.
Okay, let's go. This meeting's been a long time coming.
I can communicate with Baul, but there are still a few things you should know.
Like what?
Baul can only land on the ground in wide, open spaces, so you won't be able to dismount on steep mountain ranges or in narrow canyons.
Can't he land on water?
Water's no good either.
Really? He looks like he'd be a good swimmer.
Yeah, he'd sink like a rock.
Huh. Who knew?
But that's why we have a ship, right?
Right. If you'd like to get down onto the ocean, let me know. Baul will set our ship down there for us.
Okay, but what should we do when we want to fly again?
Use Baul's horn to call him to you.
Bowels. That's all there is to it?
Every Entelekea has a special region in its brain that can be used for communication with a special power Critians possess.
Huh. So we can get a hold of him by using that.
Right.
Judith, you're familiar with Pharaoh, aren't you?
Is he really as scary as he seems?
Well, let's see. Sometimes he's logical, sometimes he's emotional. He can be really scary or really kind.
Alright, that didn't help very much.
One thing's certain, his power is extraordinary, even among the Entelekea.
Here's hoping we don't wind up looking like poor old Mount Temsa the moment we meet him.
If he can do that to a mountain, there wouldn't be anything left if he turned on us.
I wish you wouldn't joke about scary things like that.
Why should we get scared before we even get there? Especially if he's that strong.
Wish I could take it as lightly as you and Yuri.
I never imagined you'd be able to speak with the Entelekea.
Well, I use a Critian technique to do it. Wait, do I detect a little jealousy?
Maybe. Right, Rapide?
Yuri, you want to talk to Rapide?
I think the two of you understand each other well enough already.
I got him pretty well figured out, but I don't know if he understands me.
I think he feels the same way.